Well, good morning. Shelley really made me sound really good, so I hope I can live up to your expectations there, Shelley. My name is Annette Valvik. I'm from Soy City, and I belong to St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Lakota. And I've worked at the nursing home in Bancroft it'll be 36 years here in about a week as director of nursing. So some of you look very familiar to me through some of those occasions, and I'm glad I got my fan club right in the front seat, Mark and Steve. Growing up, they were my neighbors, and so I know them very well. And also very happy to see Thelma, seen her from my church, and Burl, I've gotten to know her through the nursing home. So you guys look all very welcoming. So I was asked to speak when I met with Pastor Grinberg about a month ago, and he was asking me about my Haiti Foundation, how that all got started. And he's very interested because in his previous church, they did have a mission trip that went somewhere and how fulfilling all that is. So just to kind of tell you how it all got started, back in 2012, a year after the earthquake in Haiti, I went on a mission trip. It was kind of on a bucket list. It was just one of those things I wanted to do. And I had no idea that it was going to impact me the way it did. And I had no idea that several years later I would be in Algona speaking up here because this really wasn't my thing. But it all kind of happened in a way that I think God does work with us and how all that gets orchestrated together. But when I got ready to leave Haiti, a very interesting situation happened to me. And I know your minister discussed it in one of his sermons, but I think it's worthy to bring back up because it does have Algona roots to it. When I was leaving Haiti, and it was an incredible experience, and there was so much devastation that had happened after that earthquake, but I was so impressed with the people and their hearts, and under such situations that they had such positivity and such a genuine love of God. I thought, my goodness, if they can do this under these situations, I think I need to pull up my game a little bit. I need to be a better Christian. I need to be a better person. So I got ready to leave on the plane, and a lady walked up to me that we had stayed with, and she says, I'm going to have a baby, Annette, I'd like you to be the godmother. And I said, absolutely, of course. And so I had a cross necklace on my very first trip to Haiti. I took off my cross necklace and I gave it to this lady. And off I went, and I thought, okay, that was good, that was fun. And then about 2 months later, now with technology, I am able to keep track of Haiti via Facebook, via WhatsApp. We have all different things now that we are able to communicate with. And she was having lots of difficulty, and she lost her baby. She started hemorrhaging, and she lost the baby. Well, that was devastating for me. I'm a nurse, and I didn't know how to not do something busy. I didn't know how to sit back many countries away and just pray for this lady. I'm a doer, so that would have meant I'd have called Donna at the grocery store and said, hey, Donna, I need some buns, I need some bars, we got to go over to this house. She's had a lost a baby. This is what we got to do. But I was paralyzed because all I could do is sit back and pray for this lady many miles away. And so that was kind of an interesting and difficult deal for me to do. And then only to find out about 6 months later, I got a call from a minister I associated with, and he goes, I got a few questions for you regarding my wife. She's expecting. And now I know, in Haiti, like I thought, okay, there's lots of babies in Haiti here. We got a situation here. They all have lots of babies. But when it's your baby and it's your one baby, it does make a difference. And she had fibrocystic tumors that they had decided, I'm not sure how. And she goes, so can I deliver normally? Well, I really didn't know. I work in geriatrics. That's not something I do all the time at all. I don't have a lot of experience in that department. So, but it worried me. It kind of like kept resurfacing in my mind. I thought I went on a mission trip and it was done. But this story, this lady kept coming back in my mind. And so one afternoon I got caught up at work and I called Jen Von Bank at the Bancroft Clinic. I talked to her a lot of times a day. And she answered the phone and I said, say, Jen, what do you know about fibrocystic tumors? Can they deliver normally? How does this work? And she goes, well, Annette, I don't know. Dr. Doolittle is in Algona, and he does a lot of deliveries, and he does a lot of mission trips. So maybe you should call Dr. Doolittle. So I put a call into the Algona clinic, and he answered the phone. Now, if you don't think this is unusual, I do this all day long. This is my job. I contact doctors, I send faxes, and I chase doctors, and they're very busy people. But not very often do they just answer the phone when you call. And he said, Annette, I have a colleague that is in Atlanta, Georgia, getting ready to get on a flight to go to Haiti. So why don't you email him and see if he could maybe help you out. So I didn't know this guy. His name was Dr. Rick Bowden from Atlanta, Georgia. So I had his email, so I emailed him. And I said, I got this lady that I know in Haiti, and she's going to have this complicated delivery. I was just wondering if you can help me. And he says, Annette, I'm on the tarmac. My plane's getting ready to leave. You tell me who these people are, and if you can get them to the Church of Christ Church on a corner in Port-au-Prince, I will see them, let's say Tuesday at noon. I said, okay, all right, let's do it. So I get on my phone and I start Facebooking away to Emmanuel and Julie, and I said, Emmanuel, I have found a doctor in the United States, and they will examine Julie. Now, they don't have any transportation, so I said, you need to get on a donkey, walk, you got to leave today, because it's going to take you that long to get to this doctor. And so they said, okay, Mom. They all call Mom. And so they took off, and this Dr. Rick Bowden met him in the church and examined her, and no, she would not have been able to deliver normally and probably would have passed, or the baby would have passed away. So he called me back, and he said, I'm just kind of intrigued by this story, Annette. And I said, you're intrigued. I'm like, how did this just happen? Because it was like all the dots were lined up very strategically in something I could not have done. And I'm going like, there was a higher power in this. I just knew there was. And I said, God, thank you. And so Dr. Rick Bowden said to me, Annette, I don't know you, but if you'd like to come down, we don't know when she's due. We think it's September. So if you'd like to come down and help us with that delivery, I'm kind of fell in love with this story. I have an anesthesiologist friend in Miami. I'll get him. We'll come down and we'll have surgery. We'll have this baby. So the strange thing is I looked at my work schedule, and I'm going like, okay, September 13th, that week, it looks like I'm okay, so how about we pick that week to have the baby? So I know. I mean, we didn't know. So we took off. I took one gentleman with me that was having a hard time in his life, and I knew I couldn't go alone. And so I went down there, and we went to the hospital, and the irony in that is that when we got there, the doctor goes, okay, and let's scrub in. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm here to take pictures. I'm not, I don't do deliveries here. So once they realized that, my job became to bat the flies out of the way, because we're in this very little room in the back of a very, very old, dirty hospital. And my infection control in me was about like making me short of breath, but I thought, okay, they know what they're doing, I don't. So I batted the flies and I took pictures. And they've had a very healthy little girl, and they named her Poppy. And Poppy is my maiden name. And so from that point on, I can say I was pretty much hooked with Haiti. So there's been many stories since then, and I'm actually getting ready to return to Haiti in 2 weeks, the end of August. And it will be my 9th trip to Haiti. And I never dreamed in a million years that I would be running a foundation and we would be doing this year after year. We have 4 daughters, and all of our daughters have been to Haiti with me and for different things. And in the diversity of raising our 4 daughters, I feel like I've been very, very blessed. Yeah, there's difficulties in life. We all know that with raising kids, but I felt very blessed, and I felt like there was just this inside of me that I needed to give back. So thus I started to actually legally start the foundation so that I could work on it from a business standpoint too, so that people didn't think Annette and the Velvet Girls are going to Haiti on vacation. So I wanted to have a foundation so people could donate to it, they could get into it, they could embrace it as much as we have. So thus my organization is called 4 Daughters, but it is FOR Daughters, because we are for the women and children of Haiti. So even though we have a subliminal for 4 daughters. So they've been with me at all of them, and we started the organization in 2013. So it has been, it's 5 years, and I can hardly believe it. But in each story that I go to Haiti, there's another one of those things that happened to me that just makes me step back and go like, I could not have done that. somebody is doing this, and I'm just walking through the doors that God has opened up. And like I said, I never really felt that on a bucket list that this was going to turn to this. And it was a crazy time in my life. I went back to get my bachelor's, and I had a girl in college and 2 in high school, and I was running around, and I'm like, oh God, but it was just one of those burning things that kept me going, and it gave me a desire to do more. So, and part of that, I always want to tell people, if you have that little nudge, follow that nudge, because I do think there is a lot to that, and somebody is telling you that you need to do something. And as a member of St. Paul's Lutheran over in Lakota, I felt I was a good Christian. I taught Sunday school, I was on the council, I went to church, and I drank coffee after church, and we fellowshipped. I'm Lutheran, that's what we do. But all of a sudden, God does such great, big, wonderful things. I felt I needed to do something greater than just that in an attempt to see his total power and glory and redemption that he has given us. So that's kind of how it all got started. Shelley told me she'd cut me off because I get up here and I talk forever about stuff. The couple things that I would like to mention is people will say to me, Annette, why Haiti? There's people in Kossuth County that could use your help. There is people in Iowa that could use your help. And I kind of struggled with that for quite a while because I'm like, I don't know why Haiti. And then it became very obvious to me that I didn't pick Haiti. Haiti picked me. God put Haiti in my heart, and I'm running with it. So I don't condemn anybody for helping anybody, but you just got to help somebody. I mean, help your neighbor, help the person at the grocery store, help somebody, because the rewards that come back to you are amazing, and you don't know that until you do it. And at the nursing home that I've been there for 36 years, all of my professional career I've been there, I've got my little CNAs, and they'll say, like, Annette, I feel so bad, you get to go to Haiti and help people, and I don't get to do that. And I'm like, oh, no. You are doing mission work every day at that nursing home. Everybody you touch, every family you touch, every resident that you take care of, that is mission work. You don't have to get on a plane and drive a long ways, fly a long ways to do it. It's right here. It's right now in this church. But just to do something. And in the power of doing something, the things that have come back to me and the things that have come back to the people that I've taken with are pretty amazing too. It has changed people that I've taken with. And I don't know if you guys know Sandy Weiner from Lone Rock, Fenton area. Sandy came to me one day in my office. She's always a huge supporter of my organization, but she said, you know what, I think I kind of messed up. I never did a mission trip, and I think I'm too old. And I'm like, Sandy, I work with the elderly. You're not old. You are 73. I'm not afraid to take you, Sandy. And it was at a time where she'd taken care of her husband for many years. She was grieving. It was very hard for her. She went to Haiti, and she was going to prove that she was not old, and she was jogging, and she was in physical help. And the irony in all of that is she took care of me that year. I got dehydrated, and I fell down a mountain, and Sandy took care of me. So that was the great part of Sandy's story. And from then, it really helped her in her grieving and in her purpose in life, because I think we all want to think we're doing something and have a purpose, but it doesn't have to be to that extent. But for Haiti, it was life, and for Sandy, it was life-changing for her in Haiti. And in January, Sandy passed away. And it's taken me about a year to be able to stand up here and talk without crying about it. But this trip that I'm taking in 2 weeks, we are dedicating to Sandy. And I'm taking Brian Jack, who is Daryl and Pam Gertz's son, which you probably know. And Daryl, by the way, I was talking to some before here. Daryl is my godfather, so, don't hold it against him that he's not here supporting me today, but he's over at Brian's church, so it's all good. But then actually, I became Brian's godfather. So I felt when he first started the ministry, I took him to Haiti once with me because I thought it would really jumpstart his ministry, and he's embraced it, and he's going along with me in a couple weeks. So the trip is for Haiti. You've probably heard Sandy's Purse Project, which I started, and my garage is full of so many purses, 150. I can't even tell you. It's going to be an ongoing project because there's no way I can get all those purses there this year, but we're going to get them there every year that we go back. So that is really the focus of this trip, because how much it changed Sandy it changed all of us in watching Sandy be changed. And her daughter from California, Darcy Weiner, is going with us. And so it is my attempt to show Darcy all of the things that were her favorites in Haiti for her mom and to help her through her grieving. And as I ramble, if there's any point in time that you guys have some questions about it, I welcome you to ask me them, because maybe there's a burning desire to ask me something and wonder about something. And so I'd rather talk about that than just talk about all my stories. But how am I doing with time, Shelley? Are you all right? Okay. The other thing that I kind of just started talking about is people will say, so Annette, what are you building in Haiti? What are you building? Are you building a church? Are you building a school? Are you building a house? What are you building? And I'm like, well, I'm helping with the church. I'm buying bricks now in Sandy's memorials. But I'm building people. And I think we all know that brick and mortar don't make a family. They don't make situations change. So we are basing it upon self-esteem and building and empowering the women of Haiti specifically, along with the children, because I feel it's been a country that there's been a lot of controversy, there's been a lot of mistrust, there's been a lot of, you can't trust the military, you can't trust the cops in Haiti. They all have guns, but they all want to charge me for going on the wrong way when I was going on the right way. So you have to be very careful about that. But my whole passion is to go back year after year and see the people that I've seen from the very beginning, and I'm there. I'm not leaving them. I am there to be your support and your friend. And then every year I find more people, and I bring those people into a circle. I don't ever think in a million years I can change Haiti at all, but I think I can change maybe a few persons' perspective of it, and for them to feel that they are loved by somebody and that they can trust me, because I'm coming back year after year. Some years are easier than others. Some years financially are easier than others. But I'm going to do that because that's what I promised them. And so I'm going to be a promise that Haiti hasn't had through the government and through a lot of different people. And honestly, I didn't even know where Haiti was 10 years ago. I didn't even know. I couldn't tell you where it was. And it's very confusing to me that it's the closest country to the United States, but it's the poorest. I've got a picture out there of Port-au-Prince that shows you how very heavily populated Haiti is. I mean, it's just incredibly populated with people. You move a rock and there's 15 people that come behind it, and that's their doors. And so that's kind of the gist of it. Pastor Sam, if you've heard from Ledger, the ENR church, he went with me last year. And as you can imagine, they loved Pastor Sam. He captivated the audience. He was very good. We always do Bible school. And while I'm in Haiti, I always make sure the kids get fed during our Bible schools, because they get fed like once every 3 days. And so while we're there, whatever we're doing with it will include meals. And we sit down with them and we eat with them to show the fellowship of the food and the meal and the camaraderie. And we're teaching them, to show how naive I was, I thought we could go and do communion. So I took a minister, we bought the wine, we went to the bakery, we got the bread, and we set up. I thought the line would be around the mountain, and we'd be doing that for 3 days, and we set it up to do it, and nobody came up front. And I thought, okay, now what's going on? So I said to Sandy, Sandy, you need to come up and take communion. They don't get it. So she went up, and then I thought, okay, well, I need to go up and take communion. So I took communion, and nobody else did. And so afterwards, I talked to a few people in the church, and I'm like, how come nobody came and took communion? And they said, we're not worthy of communion. And so they feel that they are not worthy in their very desperate situations of the forgiveness of sins. And so that is a very small step that we're taking. I couldn't just change that overnight. And so little by little, we teach them the forgiveness of God through communion and through those sacraments. So it's things that we were raised to, just very common. That's all very difficult for them, but you can't change that overnight. It just takes time and time again. So that's what we're trying to do. I I want to, there's so many stories that every time I go, there's one more story that happens to me, and I guess I'll tell one quick one and then we'll watch the video. Is that when I was going to Port-au-Prince and flying in order to get across Port-au-Prince, it takes 4 to 5 hours, and it's at night usually, because we leave early in the morning and we get in there at night, and it's just kind of dangerous to travel after dark. And I do have a security guard and a translator and a minister that's on our Haiti team that have been with me since the very beginning, and they take their job very seriously. I am not naive to know that you have to be careful with trust, so I always take a guy from the United States with us, just because I think it's smart not to travel with a bunch of women, and so I always take a guy. But our security people over there are very, very, like I said, I'm their only job for the year, so whatever I pay them is what they will live on until I get back. So they take their job very, very seriously. So I really needed a place to stay in Port-au-Prince because it was too far for me to travel to the place that I knew once I landed. So my mission on that trip was I got to find a safe place for us to stay in Port-au-Prince. So I'm on the plane and flying, and I was sitting next to a Caucasian minister from Kentucky, and I could tell he had 2 Haitian kids behind me, didn't know the situation. Sometimes you talk to the people next to you, and sometimes you don't. And we basically wasted the whole trip, as I like to say it, because we were like a half hour from landing in Haiti, and he says, "So what are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I started my own foundation about 5 years ago, and I'm heading down. We have a lot of things planned, but I'm really looking for a place to stay in Port-au-Prince. So when we fly in, I can stay there, get grouped, and then go out up in the mountains. Because that's really where my passion is, the people up in the mountains." And he said, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Well, I moved down here. I have a guest home. I have an orphanage. I have a guest home." He said, "Would you be interested in staying at my guest home?" Now, this is just the guy. I call the story row 23A and B, because him and I were just sitting next to each other. And he goes, "How well do you know Port-au-Prince? Can you get around pretty well in Port-au-Prince?" Now, Port-au-Prince has I don't know, a gazillion million people. I can't even say the exact because it keeps on changing. And I said, "Well, I know there's 2 places. The giant supermarket, I can drive to that, and Matthew 25. It's a store that has books and different things, Christian. I know where that's at." And he looked at me and he says, "I live right next to Matthew 25. And both of our hands were right next to each other, and we instantly got goosebumps. So at that point, Jonathan Carver and I have locked arms, and I stay with him every time he picks me up at the airport. He takes me back, and they've just informed me they are moving to Haiti with their family. That's just something new in the last couple of weeks. So he will be down there, and he'll continue to work with my organization. But I do not think in a million years I picked that seat because it had a window. God put me right next to Jonathan Carver, and we have worked on this whole trip together, and we've become great friends. So it's just stories like that over and over again, God keeps opening doors, and we just keep walking through them. So thank you so much for letting me come here and talk. I can talk about Haiti forever, and I know I did talk to your pastor, and you're very lucky to have him. He's a wonderful gentleman, and you're very lucky to have Shelley. She's just a blessing to so many of us, and how we met through some sad situations, but we became good friends through it. So I know he's really interested in bringing people on a mission trip because it is life-changing. It changes you in a way that you can't even experience or explain. And like I said, I was probably the least likely person that I'd ever thought I would be doing this. And even Charlene Hertzke, growing up, she called me one night and she goes, "I never thought the little neighbor girl would be a missionary." And I said, "Well, I don't call myself a missionary. I'm just the neighbor girl that grew up, and this is what came in my life." And it actually provided a balance in my life as a nurse. I'm very heavy regulated with rules if you're in the medical profession. In nursing homes, there's lots of rules and regs and laws, and you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to paper, and da-da-da-da-da. So I can go to Haiti, and I always tell people I can love without laws, and I can care without care plans, and it all works out, so it provides me a balance. But I never do come home and complain of taxes, because The roads over there are terrible, and the medical system is so messed up beyond belief. So it really has provided me a balance to see that we live in a great country, and the things that we complain about, we really shouldn't complain about. So, is there any questions before I show you a video? Yes. What does your money actually go for then? So what we do with the money is a lot of medical expenses occur, like when I get there and there's somebody that has to go to the doctor. They kind of wait sometimes if they can. We've done surgeries for children. I've got one that's waiting to have eye surgery and glasses. The food that we provide for all the people that were there. And there's a couple foundations. Then once I go there, I help them. A birthing center, I give them money. But it is crazy as it seems, like to rent a car, it's $1,000 in Haiti. You would think, why would that be? But it is, and the fuel is $500. So you use a lot of expenses, and that's kind of what we were doing at the beginning, was I was spending like $3,000 a year just to get there, to get my girls and myself there, and we weren't able to do anything. The Bible school supplies, last year I took Jeff Speltz, the artist from Armstrong, and we did an art class, and so those supplies, we left those supplies with them. The other things that we have done now is we're purchasing Bibles in Creole, and we're taking those there, and we are working on a church little by little, and buying the bricks. But I'm just a small foundation compared to so many others, and so we just buy so many bricks, and when we're there, we help and we build it up as best we can. It's more of the things just for them to live on, the food, and I go and buy a big bag of beans and rice, and I bag them up, and I take them to their huts, I take them to their houses. I don't want a middleman. I want to know in my heart that these people are getting that food. I'm not sending this money to some guy that says he's going to give the people the food. I want to give the people the food. So that's where a lot of our money goes. And then the orphanages, they have also medical needs. And then the very strange thing about Haiti, too, in order to go to school, you have to have a school uniform and school shoes. So we have purchased uniforms and shoes. That's something we don't do here, but and their education for their kids are very, very important to them. And I think the educational system has a lot of work to do too, because so you go to school and you get out, and then what do you do with that? You're now along selling fruits and vegetables along the side of the road with your mom. So working on trade schools too. So Pastor Sam put this video together for us last year. It's from our trip, and so you could watch it, and you can kind of just see some of the things we do and some of the people that we've been with. And so thank you very much for allowing me to come today.